Welcome to Alchemize Yourself Tarot. I'm going to be exploring at this time how to protect yourself from the spiritual mind virus of narcissistic dating culture. I feel like this is an important topic to discuss in the spiritual community because I believe a lot of tarot readings, we're getting a lot of these patterns and programming. A lot of this is showing up in tarot readings because many times people come to tarot readings, all of us probably have come to tarot readings to make sense out of really intermittent reinforcement, really confusing dating situations, relationship situations. And dating today, or relationships today, they feel like performance. You either have to perform or be discarded. Whoever cares less wins. Desire is about control, not connections. Everything's become transactional to the point of, if you're not serving a useful purpose for somebody, you're not valued. Your value or worth is just based on what you can provide to somebody. Yeah, devil energy. Isn't that funny? Yeah, a lot of these relationships are based on obsession, addiction, toxicity, codependence, feeding off trauma and wounds, feeling like you need to prove yourself to someone. All of these triggers are actually a part of programming. I believe it's a narcissistic programming that's happening in our culture, and the spiritual community is in dire need of needing to identify this. That way we can help one another heal and actually move into our soul's purpose, our creative work, whatever spiritual work we need to be doing. It's needing to counteract a lot of this devil energy. Yeah, because it's keeping people stuck in a lack of direction. It's very emotionally draining. It's stagnant. A lot of this mind virus shows up in dating as far as love bombing, devaluing, and discarding. These cycles of intermittent reinforcement where there's a push and a pull, hot and cold behaviors. Narcissistic culture, it mimics deep connection, mirroring your desire, overwhelming you with intensity. And then once that attachment is formed, the mask slips. Then you're ignored, you're criticized, you're ghosted, and then you're left made to wonder what you did wrong. So you're internalizing this as something being wrong with you when really it is just a matrix programming. I really believe that this is being reinforced in dating culture and advice. It's in the tarot community as far as, reinforcing this idea that someone's obsessed with you, they're coming back. That's kind of feeding into an egoic pattern, but it's actually keeping you stuck and it's keeping you oppressed. It's feeding off the empath narcissist dynamic where the empath is constantly trying to heal or be there for the narcissist, and the narcissist is feeding. I mean, you have all of this playing out and it's being perpetuated. I don't think everybody out there is just an empath or a narcissist. I don't think it's that black and white, but I do think those paradigms are being exploited. And I do think it needs to be called out. All this breadcrumbing, mixed signals. You're kept on the hook with just enough attention, but not enough clarity. This feeds your craving for validation while preserving power, the power of the other person. So you begin to chase the connection instead of actually choosing it. You don't even know if you're actually really in love with this person or obsessed with them. that's the obsessive addiction that we're talking about here. And we're here to expose it. You know, I want to be doing readings where we can start to heal this, where we can expose it, where we can talk about it, because I don't think it's being talked about enough. I mean, you do have a lot of readers that are exposing unhealthy dynamics and relationships, but we need to like really start to talk about how this is keeping a lot of people stuck. You know, you have this belief that something's love. Oh, they're in love with you. I'm just so sick of hearing that. When you're in the midst of some toxic, hot and cold behavior, and then you're being told, oh, they're going to admit their love to you, it really gets you to spiral into this waiting and hoping, and you become addicted to thinking that this person's going to eventually treat you right, and then they never do. Or if they do treat you right, it's for a very short period of time. It's all about image over intimacy. It's all about transaction. It's all about, so, feeding into really negative patterns and cycles. I believe it is a matrix program. I know I just said that, but I just want to emphasize that. I want people to awaken to this. I believe that around the same time you had all this toxic dating advice in like red pill communities and things like that, you also had this twin flame stuff. A lot of these things got popular in social media around the same time. And what has happened is it's actually fed into that empath narcissist behavior, because all that dread game, red pill stuff is being enforced while, the twin flame dynamic as far as spiritual healing and waiting for them, and this is your soulmate, this is your twin flame. I do think they're both similar, opposing, polarized matrix programs. And I think it's actually not all the time, this is a general statement, but I do believe it's actually pulling people back away from being able to evolve spiritually or ascend. If you feel like you've been in this, it is time to start identifying it and waking up to it. How to stay soul-centered and connected when you're dealing with this kind of dating culture. You need to prioritize your emotional safety over chemistry. If the connection is making you feel anxious or destabilized, this is not love, it's programming, or it's part of a wound. And I'm not saying a relationship's never going to make you feel anxious or confused, but if that is a consistent pattern in a relationship, 1 week you're all lovey-dovey, the next few weeks you're not even hearing from this person, that is a programming. Relationships are not meant to destabilize you like this. You need a date from your center, not your wound. So do you want this person, or do you just want them to want you? So are you seeking validation? Do you actually really want the person, or do you want them to accept you or validate you? Also, don't play into games. Call it out. Playing back reinforces the virus. Refusing to play is spiritual hygiene. So the more you play along, the more it perpetuates that loop. And then you're starting to play into it. You're starting to intermittently reinforce things as well. But then you're stuck in it. It becomes an addiction. Also, you need to deepen your self-intimacy. The more at home you are in your soul, the less likely you'll be seduced by illusion, flattery, or power dynamics. Yeah, at a certain point, it just won't feel good. It's just going to feel really, really icky. It's not going to be seductive at all. It's going to actually kind of dampen or neutralize your attraction for somebody because you're going to see it. You're going to feel that. So I'm going to leave the Devil card out because I think it's very important that that was on the bottom of the deck. And we're going to do a detox tarot spread right now. What were you really seeking in this person? Spirit, what was the collective really seeking in a particular person? What is the current energy here? What was being sought after in this connection? Two of Pentacles, balance. So I believe you were trying to be flexible and adaptable. You really were seeking balance and reciprocity in this connection. So you may have come in with very authentic, clear intentions about, you wanted somebody that, both of the two of you would be very adaptable, work with one another. But what was the mind game that started to hook you here? What was the mind game that may have started to hook you to this person? What was the mind game that started to hook you in? What was a mind game? Five of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, it was starting to trigger old wounds, loss, grief, disappointment, blinded to love. So it was triggering past wounds, things that you have already gotten over. Some of you, this has been something that's repeated in multiple partnerships. You started to recognize, oh, this person, is making you feel a certain way, regretful, sad, disappointed. So it reminded you of something from the past, something you've already tried to clear or heal. Some of you are dealing with new people and you're realizing, oh, this new person's doing the exact same thing the other person did. That's when you know it's a programming. I believe that's the matrix programming. It's like, wow, this is like just how people operate now. This is just how it goes. Something feels familiar about it. So that's your key to realize, hey, this is not just you. This is something that's a reoccurring thing going on a societal level. So what's the false self you may have played to stay desired? What version of yourself do you feel like you had to play out to keep this person? What version of you did you feel like you had to play out to keep this person? Wow, these aren't... What version of yourself do you feel like you had to play? Well, I think you, Ten of Cups, the manipulation was, I don't need anything. King of Pentacles in the reverse, because King of Pentacles in the reverse is somebody that's a protector, a provider, someone reliable. Also, a false game is someone didn't want to play that role. They maybe acted like they could not give you these things, and maybe they really can't. But there's something about a false sense of security and stability, and that not being there. Sometimes you'll play small, like you don't need a lot from somebody. Maybe you settled for way less than this person was capable of giving you. We're talking like that's that breadcrumbing. Somebody that's not invested. Ten of Cups, oh, I don't need a relationship. So maybe some of you acted, you didn't go in allowing this person to know that you wanted security, stability in a relationship. Some of you already had past wounds that you entered into a connection with. So you played this small. You acted like you maybe didn't need commitment or security, or you downplayed it. You didn't express it. And a lot of times people love, especially masculine, they love not feeling like they have to give, right? That's like a get out of providing free card. If they feel like you will accept less, they're going to just start giving you less. So there's a lack of appreciation. And with the Magician in the reverse, maybe you felt like this person would actually want a new beginning or want to be with you if you weren't asking for so much. Guys, and that, and I've heard that. It's like, if you aren't coming into the relationship with clear intentions of what you really want, people will take advantage of that. And sometimes you get this feeling like, well, if you ask for too much, then they'll leave. But isn't that a good thing? I mean, from a point of view, at a certain point, it's like, well, it actually works against you, because you think that the person will appreciate that you're not putting too much pressure on them. But then what? They start to take advantage of that. And also, you may have entered into it really hesitant, really wounded. Maybe you hadn't fully healed from something that you thought you had healed from. But what is your soul trying to learn at this time? Some of you are really trying to break this pattern. What is your soul trying to learn at this time? What is your soul trying to learn at this time? The Lovers. What is true soulmate? Well, there's the twin flame, balance, spiritual love. What your soul is, you're identifying something that's not spiritual twin flame love. And also that word balance. You're realizing something is not balanced and that there are consequences to dealing with this or putting up with it. There's karma involved with giving too much to something that is not spiritual, that is not right for you or reciprocated with you. There's karmic backlash. There's consequences. For everything we do, there's a consequence, whether good or bad. And if you don't set boundaries for what you want, and if you settle for less, you're going to get that. That from a manifestation point of view, you're going to continue to get that. And there's no judgment here from my part, because I understand this. I wouldn't even be here doing this kind of work if I didn't understand it firsthand. So what you end up getting is something very unfair, unbalanced. You give what you get, or you get what you expect. If you've lowered your expectations so much, and you've settled for a toxic pattern, you're going to continue to get that back. Only you can break the loop. You can't allow someone to have that much power over you, or you're just going to continue to lose. You're not going to be able to manifest. You're going to feel very disempowered. You're going to repeat that grief and loss, and you're going to be further and further away from the person that you're really meant to be with. So that's what your soul is trying to learn here. And what you must release to break this cycle, what you're going to have to let go of is this heartache, this continuous heartbreak. You've got to let go of the sorrow, the drama, separation, heartbreak, the hot and cold, the games, everything that's been breaking your heart. You have to end it once and for all. You have to, Five of Cups, Three of Swords, you have to decide, I am not going to do things that hurt me, that break my heart. You're going to have to keep saying that to yourself. You are no longer going to allow this person to have that kind of power over you to break your heart and use you and play games with you. So you're going to have to release that. You're going to have to really focus on your healing and your growth. What does soul-aligned love look like? Knight of Wands. Well, some of you are still in this feeling of impulse, rebellious, charming, hot-tempered. I believe what your soul really wants is stability. What your soul is really wanting is stability and a sense of security. You may have been, confusing chemistry and passion with love. That's something you're having to identify. Just because you're attracted to somebody, just because something feels rebellious and charming and fun and hot, does not mean it's good for you. That's where the addiction comes from. And you have to be ready for that. You have to be ready to follow through and take action too. Some of you need to start really getting heated up about this. This is not fair. It's not balanced. It's not good for you. So your power and love moving forward, what does Spirit want to say? The moon. Illusions, hidden, confusion, and secrets and uncertainty. Some of you like the mystery. You like the passion. But at least own it. At least admit it. Don't allow it to hurt you. Some of you have kind of lost hope and you're kind of playing the game as well. You're kind of feeding into the illusion. But it's like you're needing to, you're needing to own it or come to terms with the fact that something is an illusion, that the uncertainty does kind of feed you in a way. And if you're okay with that, if you no longer get hurt when that happens, you can play the game, but just remember your heart is going to start to block off. You're going to shut down at a certain point. You're going to be numb. Some people just choose, if you can't beat them, join them. A lot of people are doing that right now. It's like, well, if you can't beat the player, you join them. And that's why we have, some of you are also going to choose to walk away and leave this whole thing behind. You're going to seek, a different path. You're at a crossroads. Are you going to walk away? Or are you going to continue this pattern? And you're going to actually find more peace. You're going to find peace, tranquility, and harmony within yourself, not playing into this. Let's get a couple of the unspoken messages of the narcissist and the empath. What's an unspoken message? Spirit, let us see what's going on with this collective as you try to come to terms with what's going on. Many of you already know this. This is just going to be confirmation for a lot of you on stuff you already know. Some of you, this is just entertainment, but others of you are trying to find a higher path. What does it say? I never needed you. I wanted you. Okay, so my connection to you wasn't born of dependency, but of choice. I saw the value in you that you couldn't and chose to share my heart of genuine desire. Some of you are real empaths. You really chose this connection because you want to heal this person. But I warn, I have been doing some other work on this. Be careful with the spiritual mindset of, oh, I can heal them. There's a dangerous loop to that as well. You want to heal the bad boy. Sometimes the only way to heal them is to leave them. What else with the empath and narcissist dynamic? And I think the empath and narcissist are kind of addicted to one another. I think there's a kind of a codependent addiction, but that's something I'll delve into deeper. I am more than your healer. So some of you know that you're more, my worth isn't defined by what I can fix in others. That's what Spirit wants you to know. As an empath, your worth isn't defined what you can fix in other people. This person's a player and they want to be down that path, it's not your job to fix them. I really do care, and you are too arrogant to see it. Yet we start shifting blame. They're just too arrogant. But what are you putting up with? My compassion runs deep, but your pride blinds you to the insincerity, or to the sincerity of my intentions. Another thing that the empath does, we say that they're too arrogant, but isn't it arrogant to think that you can fix somebody? They have to want to fix themselves. I'm sorry, but the whole empath thing, I believe empaths have a certain amount of ego. I believe empaths and narcissists are both operating from, and those are broad blanket terms. Let's clarify that. They're both ego wounds. The ego wound of wanting to grandiosely puff up the ego, and the empath has the wounded ego of needing to seek validation, needing to fix, needing to be the healer, needing to, oh, you're just arrogant. Well, isn't it arrogant to think that it's your job to fix somebody? And yes, you can do healing work. I'm not downplaying the fact that you want to be a good person and you want to heal somebody and you want to hold their hand through their problems. But if they are treating you like a piece of crap or trash, you are not fixing that person. You are enabling. The empath runs the danger of enabling somebody. But then you're saying they're arrogant while you enable a really toxic, codependent pattern. I find strength in vulnerability. Being open with my emotions is my greatest source of resilience. So some people find strength in vulnerability. That's an empathic trait. Like, you like the idea of opening up, sharing your feelings. My compassion became my prison, yeah, but it's becoming a prison. Caring for you left me trapped in a cycle of emotional exhaustion. That's the problem with the empath diagram programming, is that it leaves you emotionally exhausted because your cup never gets filled. You're looking for balance, right? Reciprocity. A lot of times the empath is not getting reciprocity. I mistook attention for affection. I stayed because I thought your focus meant love. Yet another ego wound that a lot of empaths, healers, also, a lot of empaths experience this. And then that'll put you into an ego death. But like I say, I want to explore this because I do believe that they're both an ego wound. And you're both projecting outward, like, well, if I fix this person, somehow I'll be worthy. Ask yourself, have you been saying that? Well, if I'm there for them, I'll somehow be worthy. So it's like self-sacrificial. But it's like you're not stepping into your power with that mindset. You're sacrificing all of your power and giving your power away to that person. You're feeding them your power. So these are all questions that, many of us are asking ourselves about this spiritual journey. what is this? We got a lot of empath, pretty much all empath cards. There are narcissist cards in there as well. So that's telling that every single card was like identifying the empath and the connection. This deck is huge. Okay, so we have intergenerational conflict, fighting over values, inheritance, identity, battle between past and future, fear of becoming irrelevant or unseen. I think this is a wound of the empath. Being unseen, being irrelevant, constantly seeking approval. And then we have the hype man. Others cheering you on, positive bestie energy, authentic outside validation, sacred supporter. Some of you need a sacred supporter right now. You've been the hype man for the devil energy. But I think you need a cheerleader. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to get you to see how this could be hurting you in the long run, or keeping you stuck. Maybe a lot of you are feeling that way right now. And it's like you're ready to break that pattern. You're ready to have spiritual hype man. What about you? What are your needs? Many of you, your needs aren't getting fed or filled at all. Let's see what this one. The white van, uneasy feelings, suspicious, illegal activity, abductor, inconspicuous, but an evil intent. Be careful. I mean, this is a very dark message, but people take advantage of empaths. Somebody could have evil intent. There are people that are not good people. They prey on kind-hearted, soft-hearted people. So I think that's a warning to someone out there. Somebody is not a good person at all. They're inconspicuous, but they have evil intent. That's more like psychopathic behavior. Sociopathic, I would say more psychopath, right? You're going to attract the wrong kind of person. And they may be a wolf in sheep's clothing. So be very careful. Yeah, inner core solidity. You need to focus on grounding your foundation, your spiritual hygiene. And yeah, I love you guys. This is very important to me. And you know, I'm here. I'm going to be doing readings like this to just really hone in on this energy, because it's really been gnawing at me. And please like and share and subscribe. Bye.